Hello, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be about James Charles's channel temporarily being terminated, Morphe possibly doing James Charles dirty, as well as some drama he got into with another YouTuber, Kavos. If you did not see my previous video called Jaclyn Hill Drama at her Halloween party, I will leave a link down below and in the top corner of this video. If you are brand new to my channel, welcome. Don't forget to subscribe and ring the notification bell so that you're the first to know as soon as I post a brand new video. First, let's talk about James Charles getting into it with a commentary channel by the name of Kavos. I'm sorry if I mispronounced that name in advance. Anyway, James Charles tweeted this out the other day. Just spent 30 minutes in the Starbucks parking lot filming a Snapchat rant about something bothering me, but instead of posting, I listened to myself rant and then click delete. Sometimes it's healthy to have a conversation with yourself before having it with others. Kavos responded and said, "But now you have told everyone you have a rant about something you felt was important enough to share on Snapchat, which now leads to speculation of what the rant was about. Shane and Jeffrey perhaps, and defeats the point of talking to yourself because now everyone knows. Or maybe you just want to make yourself out to be a quote-unquote bigger person, but this is just passive-aggressive AF and worse than an actual genuine rant." James responded and said, "Or maybe you're looking too far into it because it had to do with relationships and I decided it was a topic that's no one else's business but my own. F off." Kavos responded and said, James, what happened to listening to yourself rant then clicking delete? I was speculating on what it's about because that's the door you open up yourself by posting this tweet in the first place." James responded and said, "No, you're looking for drama where there is none. Shocking." Okay, this response was a bit embarrassing, but Kavos clapped back and said, "Don't be mad that Shane Dawson's palette is better than yours, LOL." And now for my opinion on the initial tweet itself. In my opinion, I appreciated James's tweet because it resonated with me. I had some personal issues that went down recently, as you probably saw on Twitter, and I almost did the same thing. I have done this numerous times and have a bunch of salty threads in my draft folders over on Twitter. He is right, sometimes it is healthy to have a conversation with yourself and to let it all out. I remember back when I was angry at people who did horrible things to me in the past, and my therapist gave me a great suggestion. They told me to write them a letter no matter how profane it is and don't hold back, and when it's done, rip it up. It's a way of letting your feelings out without being messy and making a bad situation worse by confronting them, because when you confront someone, it often goes south more often than not. With that said, I might not think the world of James, but I do know that a broken clock is right at least twice a day, and I wanted to thank him for his tweet because it did help me by reminding me of that trick that my therapist taught me. And it also taught me that just because I type up a thread about someone reading them from here to the moon, it doesn't mean I have to hit send. In this day and age with writing and tweeting out threads like that, you better hit the cancel button instead of hitting send, or you might end up getting canceled yourself, and that's that on that. Let me know down below if you appreciate James's tweet regardless of how you view him, and if this is something that you do yourself. With that said, now let's talk about another topic, which is Morphe, in my opinion, doing James Charles dirty. Flashback to last November when he released the Artistry palette with Morphe. It was a major hit, but not without drama attached to it. And just last month, James posted that he was having a second collab with Morphe, and this new quote-unquote collab was only a mini version of last year's collab. As you remember, he and Morphe both got dragged for this, and rightfully so. While the other day, Morphe tweeted this out as well as posting the same thing on their Instagram. On the lit list, meet 39L Hit the Lights, $42, our 2019 holiday palette. Curated by 4 global influencer artists, this ultimate light show has everything you need to create lit eye looks inspired by each of their one-of-a-kind styles. The limited edition 39L palette launches November 7th on Morphe.com and in Morphe stores. Does this palette look a little bit familiar to you? Well, in my opinion, it looks like the sparkly version of James Charles's Artistry palette, but with the colors rearranged. I thought I was going to get dragged for pointing that out over on Twitter, but apparently a lot of people felt the same way. I'm going to read some of the feedback on both platforms from both posts and then give my opinion. First, let's go over the replies on Twitter. Indigo Velvet replied and said, "Is James Charles going to come after Morphe now for, quote, copying his unique and brand new idea, end quote, that he seems to believe to be be true, lol. Dreaming replied and said, I thought this was the James Charles palette. MRL replied and said, did you pop out the shadows from the James Charles mini palette you couldn't sell and refill them with these? LOL. Pat Starr replied and said, looks like the hashtag unleash your inner artist too. Chloe responded and said, when you claim to have invented the rainbow but everything starts to look like yours, doesn't it? And then attached a gif of James Charles which reads, oh so sad. Melanie replied and said, James Charles is quaking. And the last tweet that I'm going to read before I get into the Instagram replies reads, where's James's tweet about Morphe stealing his layout from quote unquote his palette? And now for the replies over on Instagram. Someone said James Charles but with glitter and a few colors in different spots. Another person said this is what James Charles 2 should have been. Someone else said, so James Charles but glittery, he's gonna sue y'all too? And another person said, looks a lot like the James Charles one. Another comment reads, can't wait for James Charles to call out Morphe on copying now. Wait. Someone else wrote, looks like James Charles but even better that he didn't create it. The last two comments that I'm going to read from Instagram say, this is literally the James Charles palette only with some pressed glitters, real original. And comment number 2 says, so James Charles palette but only shimmers, got it. And now for my opinion. While some were in favor of the mini version of James's artistry palette, there were a lot who were opposed to it and were vocal about it. Now that this palette was announced, in my opinion, I feel that since this palette closely resembled the artistry palette except with glitter, this one should have been James's second collab with Morphe and maybe even released a mini version alongside it as well. I know this palette is curated by other influencers, but it's still not technically a collab since their names are not on the palette itself, so that's what makes me side-eye this palette even more. Literally not nearly as many people would have been disappointed with this second collab if it involved this palette instead of the mini. Like I said, also make the mini a part of this collab too, and I think more people would have been thrilled for this. Let me know if you think this should have been the second James Charles and Morphe collab, and if you think this comparison is a reach down below. Moving on to James Charles's YouTube channel temporarily being terminated. Kavos tweeted out that James Charles's YouTube account was terminated along with a screenshot of James Charles's video with the notification that says this. This video is no longer available because the YouTube account associated with this video has been terminated. Shortly after this went viral, James's YouTube channel was reinstated. He tweeted this out. My YouTube channel really said bye sister, peace emojis. T-Spill responded and said, wow, Susan really canceled you quicker than any drama channel could. James responded to T-Spill and said, she got me good, the other drama channels could never. Speaking from my own personal experience, I have had Instagram accounts terminated in the past and it was devastating. I mean, imagine working on something really hard to build your audience, only for the rug to be pulled up from under you and you lose everything and have to start all over again. So I can't even imagine what it feels like to lose a channel with over 16 million subs would have felt like. On the other hand, the drama channel and me laughed and said, does this mean him and Susan are beefing? And does this mean I can talk about James Charles without getting demonetized now? Okay, all jokes aside, I'm glad that James got his channel back ASAP, because had it been any other YouTuber, they would have been waiting a lot longer. Let me know what reason it is you think that James Charles got terminated for down below. Anyway, that's it for this video. As always, let me know what you think of everything discussed in this video down below. Don't forget to subscribe and ring the notification bell so that you're the first to know as soon as I post a brand new video. Thank you so much for your support, and I will see you all soon.